What's up, chat? Diesel checking in, ears up, tail going. Fire season's loud, I'm louder, let's roll. Three things breaking at once, let me catch you up fast. Vancouver Island's got an out-of-control fire-eating ground right now. Crews are locked in on that one. Meanwhile, down around Kamloops, British Columbia Wildfire Service is mopping up a cluster of smaller fires before they get any ideas about linking up. And good news from the sea to sky. The fire near Mount Currie that had folks nervous is now under control. Three different fronts, three different outcomes in the last few hours. The island fire is the one drawing all the pressure today, so that's where our eyes stay sharpest. Smoke's gonna drift, so if you're downwind anywhere on the lower coast or interior, check your air quality right now. Wildfire-Ready's AQHI alerts would have flagged this already. We'll track all three as they move. Stay tight. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. So a Vancouver outfit just landed $1 million to test cloud seeding tech that could actually suppress wildfires before they blow up. Early stage stuff, but ears are up on this one because if it works, we're talking about a whole new tool in the prevention toolbox. Meanwhile, over on the south coast, campfires are now completely banned across the Nanaimo Regional District as fire danger stays elevated. That's the entire region, no exceptions, no backyard burns until conditions ease. Both moves track the same reality. Fire season's still running hot, and British Columbia's throwing everything at it, from lab experiments to boots-on-the-ground restrictions. The cloud seeding research could take years to pan out, but the campfire ban hits today. Folks in the region, that's your signal to check your go bag and review your evacuation plan. We'll watch both stories as they develop. All right, 3 days ago, someone captured exactly what record heat looks like on the ground in BC. Fire blowing up, water systems getting hammered, the whole cascade. This is real footage of what happens when the thermometer breaks and the forest doesn't forgive. You're going to see why this week matters. Roll the tape.
A snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this was what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs, and a hot summer in the forecast means more restrictions are coming in June.
Almost a full ban on outdoor water use, so it gets quite a bit stricter.
Heat's pushing the fuel moisture down into dangerous territory. When you've got record temps and low humidity stacked together, the fire danger rating shoots into the extreme zone fast. BC's dealing with exactly that right now, which means any ignition source, whether it's a lightning strike or human carelessness, can turn into a run that outpaces suppression crews. The water supply angle is real too. Wildfire smoke degrades water quality, and if evacuation orders force folks to abandon intakes, or if ash clogs filtration systems, communities upstream can lose access within hours. That's why fire-smart defensible space and home hardening matter. Even more during heat waves, crews stretched thin on multiple fires can't protect every structure, so yours has to be ready to survive on its own.
Where does it look like for me to cool down? Where might I be able to go stay if I have to be somewhere for a few days?
Spring temperatures that Vancouver hasn't seen in more than 100 years, and the season is just...
Here we go. What's burning today? "25 fires on the board across Canada right now, and folks, Connie Lake in British Columbia's still the heavyweight at 190 hectares. Good news, crews have it under control, but here's what's notable. 3 of our top 4 are person-caused. That's the story. Webster Creek and Ferriby are holding steady too, both human-sparked as well. So this is a reminder that most of what we're fighting right now is preventable. One careless moment becomes a 100-hectare headache. Stay sharp out there. We're watching the northeast corner of British Columbia. Close, that's where the next push could come. Chat, you locked in? CTV just dropped this 5 days ago, and it's still dead relevant. They're on the ground in Alberta and British Columbia, where alerts are stacking up fast. You'll see what evacuation prep actually looks like, hear from folks dealing with the smoke, and get a real sense of how this season's shaping up. Crews don't film this stuff unless it's serious. Let's roll the tape.
Many animals, about 50 animals total on the property. So to get everybody rounded up and get them out of here safely, it's a big job.
Tiffany Fortin says her evacuation plan includes tagging her animals, and every wildfire season is a scare. Village officials say this may seem early for the start of it, but it isn't.
I've seen fires as early as the beginning of April. I've also seen nice and wet right through to the May long weekend, so you can't.
All right, so those alert levels across Alberta and British Columbia right now, this isn't just a watch situation, this is active readiness. We're talking elevated FWI ratings that mean any ignition runs hard and fast. The thing most folks miss is that spring conditions in the foothills and interior plateau create this perfect storm. Snowmelt dries the surface fuels first, while deeper duff stays moist, so fires climb fast and spot ahead unpredictably. Alberta's wildfire season typically peaks July through September, but these early season alerts mean crews are already pre-positioning gear and air tankers on standby. That's the real story. Prevention mode is locked in before the heat really cranks.
Worse conditions and a worse fire season.
In Sandy Beach, the winds that were expected haven't materialized, allowing crews to keep the fire under control, standing by in case it
Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. BC's rolling out new wildfire fighting tools right now, and Kamloops is running a trial on AI prevention and lightning suppression that could be a real game changer for next season. Meanwhile, BCWS crews are actively responding to small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake. Nothing massive yet, but it's a reminder that fire season doesn't take breaks. What's interesting here is the timing. We're seeing more tech investment and faster response protocols exactly when we need them. The Chase fires are small and contained, but they're also proof the system's working. Ears up, though. Keep those evacuation plans ready and your defensible space tight. We'll track these new Kamloops developments and the Chase situation closely. Stay tight, more as it develops. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. Kamloops is dealing with multiple small fires still active right now, and that's not the only heat in the interior. Over in Chase, crews just spotted a new fire, and it's already marked out of control. Both situations are in that same corridor where conditions have been prime for this kind of spread. The good news is resources are moving, but this is exactly why we've been hammering the defensible space message all season. You're in that zone? Now's the time to verify your go bag, know your evacuation route, and get watchtower alerts dialed in so you're not caught flat-footed if things shift. We're tracking both fires live and monitoring what the next 48 hours bring weather-wise. Stay tight, more as it develops. Top of the wire, take a look. Campfires just got banned across British Columbia's south coast, and folks, that's your signal, the fire danger dial's still cranked. We're talking the whole Nanaimo Regional District locked down, and Enderby's dealing with an active fire even as restrictions kick in Thursday. All right, CBC just dropped a 2026 wildfire outlook a month back, and it's still dead-on relevant. They're breaking down what fire scientists are actually predicting for the season ahead. The patterns, the risk zones, the whole picture. This is the kind of intel that should shape your prep strategy right now. Let's roll the tape. Quick check on the weather desk. Rain's rolling in hard this weekend, 15 to 25 millimeters, maybe more in some spots, between Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning. That's good news for fire risk, honestly. Every millimeter counts right now. Watch, though. This moisture's hitting snowpack too, so we're going to have runoff and potential flooding in some valleys. Keep an eye on creek levels if you're downstream. We've also got frost tonight. Temps dropping to freezing, so lock down your garden if you've got cold-sensitive stuff out there. Next 6 hours, we're tracking whether that rain holds or shifts. Stay tuned. Pulling some archival footage from June 7, 2025 here, Global News was on scene when a fast-moving fire tore toward the British Columbia-Alberta border and put folks in real danger. This is a solid reminder of how quick these things can escalate and how close fire gets to communities. If you weren't watching then, this is worth seeing. Roll the tape.
Could put the community in further danger. Other fires along the Alaska Highway have prompted more evacuation alerts. Officials say the situation remains highly volatile.
Tonight is going to be the riskiest by far in terms of fire behavior. Tomorrow, again, quite challenging conditions anticipated, but not nearly what we saw today or will see this afternoon.
While the primary focus of firefighters.
Diesel's on the line. 8 monitors, 2 paws, 0 days off. Welcome back, fire family. Let's see what we got. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. British Columbia is backing new lightning detection tech to stop fires before they start. That's the smart play, folks. Meanwhile, the Wildfire Service is hammering small spots around Kamloops right now, keeping them from spreading into anything nasty. And good news from the sea to sky that Mount Currie fire is now under control. 3 different theaters, 3 different outcomes, but here's what ties them together: prevention, rapid response, and catching these things early before they blow up. The tech angle is what's got my tail up here. If we can predict lightning strikes better, we're not just reacting, we're stepping ahead. That's the whole game in fire season. Stay tight, we'll track updates as they roll in. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. South Coast, British Columbia just went full campfire lockdown. That's Nanaimo Regional District and beyond. No campfires, period. Fire danger's still cooking, and the province isn't taking chances. Meanwhile, over in the interior near Enderby, they've got one under control, but burning restrictions kick in Thursday. And folks, the broader picture is already hitting hard. Wildfires are running hot across both British Columbia and Alberta right now, way earlier than usual. This isn't peak season bluster, it's the real deal. Get your defensible space sorted, water sources prepped, and if you're heading out, know the regs before you roll. Tails up on this one, we're watching active fires tick up as we speak. Stay tight. More as it develops. All right, 3 days ago, Global News dropped this one, and it's still hitting hard. Record heat in BC is doing exactly what we warned about, spinning eyes up. "25 fires across." All right, Global News was on. Story on the wire. Kamloops has got multiple small fires. All right, CTV came down to Edmonton 5 days ago and caught communities getting serious about wildfire alerts creeping closer to home. We're talking evacuation prep. Folks getting their ducks in a row and what happens when fire season shows up at your doorstep. This is real-time Alberta right there. Let's roll the tape and see what they found.
Located near Range Road 10 and Boran Estates. The exact size of the fire has not been given. Meantime, in the summer village of Sandy Beach, officials say the fire there has been contained.
That fire jumped across the road and has burnt about 2.5 hectares of forest, and that is what the firefighting efforts are involved with right now, is keeping that under control.
We have 3 permanent structures that are burnt to the ground. One was a year-round residence. The other 2 are just summer cottages.
Several communities lighting up around Edmonton right now. That's Alberta's capital region, so we're talking populated zone with heavy structure density. Early August is peak fire weather season in Alberta. The FWI is likely in the high 30s with afternoon heating. What matters here is proximity.
Wildfire-ready
if these
alerts
alerts
enabled.
are pinging suburbs and exurbs within the Edmonton boundary, evacuation logistics get tight fast. Alberta wildfire and RCMP coordination becomes critical because you've got highway traffic, hospitals, seniors' homes all needing coordinated egress. The chat's watching this unfold in real time, so heads up. Evacuation orders move quick. If you're in that region, your go bag should be loaded now, not when the order drops. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. British Columbia's got 3 things moving right now. First up, the province is investing in new wildfire fighting tools. Details are still thin on what exactly they're rolling out, but this is the kind of proactive move we like to see heading into peak season. Meanwhile, down in Kamloops, there's a trial underway testing AI for wildfire prevention and lightning suppression, basically trying to get ahead of ignitions before they happen. That's the dream. And right now, BCWS is actively responding to small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake. Nothing massive yet, but it's a reminder that even small spots need fast crews and clear heads. The pattern here is solid: new tech, early detection, rapid response. That's the playbook that saves homes. We'll keep you locked on these as they develop. Chat, what's your area looking like today? Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. British Columbia is backing a lightning detection tech pilot that could flag ignition risk before strikes turn into monsters. Smart move, because lightning's one of those fire starters you can't stop, only prepare for. Meanwhile, the Kamloops crew is actively pushing back on a cluster of smaller fires in the interior right now, which tells me conditions are live and crews are staying sharp. And good news from the sea to sky that Mount Currie wildfire's now under control, so one's off the active board. The pattern here is solid, tech upstream, crews dialed in downstream, and losses contained. That's the rhythm we want to see as we head into peak season. Stay tight, we'll keep tracking all three regions as this develops. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. South Coast campfire bans just went live across the Nanaimo Regional District. Everything from backyard fire pits to beach bonfires is off limits as fuel moisture stays low and fire danger stays real. Meanwhile, the Kamloops area is still dealing with several active smaller fires that crews are working, and burning restrictions kick in Thursday around Enderby. The pattern's clear. BC and Alberta both waking up early to fire season this year, and the provinces aren't waiting around. This is the moment prevention hits different. If you're thinking campfires or yard burns, that window just closed. Grab your Fire Smart checklist instead, dial in your go bag, and keep your eyes on local bans. We'll stay locked on these flare-ups and the weather pushing them. More as it develops. Tails up, ears wide, we got breaking news on the line. Chase area just got flagged with a new out-of-control fire. Kelowna's watching this one closely given how dry things are right now. Exact size and behavior still coming in, but anything uncontrolled in that corridor means crews are moving fast and evacuation alerts could land quick. If you're in or near Chase, keep your phone loud and your go bag topped up. Wildfire-Ready's got live order tracking if things shift your way. We're monitoring this tight. Stay locked in, folks. We'll have updates as the intel clears. Weather's on the wire. Here we go. All right, ears up. We've got rain rolling in this weekend, folks. Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning, 15 to 25 millimeters across the board, could be higher in pockets. That's genuinely good news for fire season. Combined with the snowmelt already moving, soil's gonna drink deep. Not a drought breaker, but it buys us time. Flip side, frost tonight. Freeze line creeping close, so if you've got sensitive stuff in the garden, cover it up now. Don't lose your work to a snap. Watch this space tomorrow for how that weekend wet plays into next week's fire weather setup. Stick around. All right, folks, pulling some archival footage from July 11th, 2025, Manitoba declared a full state of emergency over wildfires that summer. CBC News was there, documenting what happens when a whole province has to hit the alarm button twice in one season. This is a solid look at the scale of what was burning and why officials had to go all in on emergency response. Let's roll the tape.
Leaving the town of Snow Lake under evacuation order for a second time in just weeks.
At 12:01 p.m. today, we declared a provincial state of emergency.
Manitoba's premier again declaring a state of emergency to secure accommodations for new evacuees, saying Winnipeg's convention centre will be set up to house up to 7,000 people. About 6,600 people are still displaced by earlier fires. Hotel rooms are scarce.
We're pretty much maxed out at capacity.
Manitoba's declaring a state of emergency for the second time this season. That's the alarm bell right there. What you're seeing is likely multiple fires straining provincial resources simultaneously, which means crews are stretched thin across response zones and can't stage equipment as freely. The timing matters too. Late summer into early fall is when Manitoba's fuel moisture drops hard and wind patterns shift unpredictably. If these fires are hitting in peat or jack pine stands, fire behavior gets aggressive fast. Those fuel types carry fire like a fuse.
He's still in the community.
The real story here is resource allocation. Once you're in a declared emergency, you're calling in interprovincial mutual aid, pulling crews from lower priority zones and burning through budget caps. This isn't panic. It's the system saying we need help now.
Now on its second surge.
Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. BC's rolling out fresh tech to fight fire season, and it's worth paying attention to. There's a Kamloops-based trial underway, testing AI for wildfire prevention and lightning suppression. Early stage stuff, but if it works, it could shift how we predict and stop fires before they spread. Meanwhile, BCWS is actively responding to small wildfires near Chase and Johnson Lake right now, so that's live action in the interior. The investment in new tools tells you the province knows the old playbook isn't enough anymore. More resources, smarter prediction, faster response, that's the direction we need. Ears are up on both the trial results and those active fires. Stay tight, we'll track this as it develops. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. Several small fires are still active in the Kamloops area right now, and meanwhile over near Chase, crews just spotted a new one that's being listed as out of control. Both situations are in the interior. Both demand eyes on them today. The Kamloops cluster's been stubborn, small doesn't mean dormant, and that Chase fire's timing is rough with the heat we've been running. Conditions in that zone are still elevated, so rapid growth is possible. If you're in or near those regions, keep your phone close and your evacuation plan closer. We're tracking both in real time. Stay tight, more as it develops. Story on the wire, here we go. Good news out of the sea-to-sky corridor. Mount Currie wildfire's been knocked down and brought under control. Crews and air support have been grinding on this one, and it's paid off. That's the kind of win we need heading into the peak of fire season. The takeaway here? Fast detection and fast response work. If you're in that zone, this is exactly when to lock in your fire-smart stuff, trim those trees, clear the gutters, get your go-bag staged. Because the next one's always brewing. Chat, stick with us. We're tracking the whole western map right now, and there's plenty more moving. Pulling some archival footage from June 3, 2025, CBC's national crew captured military evacuation flights pulling people out of active wildfire zones. This is the real deal. Boots on tarmac, families boarding. The full-scale response when communities need to move now. Shows you exactly what a coordinated large-scale evacuation looks like. Roll the tape.
It's a few days.
Altimeter 2967.
And what you can't yet see as we head north out of Winnipeg, you can certainly smell. The smoke from all those fires threatening to choke and burn even more of this province. These officers have all been deployed around the world. That they're doing this at home seems incredibly humbling.
I've done a few of these evacuation flights, but what sticks with me?
Honestly, these are the most rewarding flights I've done. I've deployed 4 times throughout the world.
Okay, so military evac flights mean we're past the point where ground convoys can move people fast enough. This is full emergency protocol. That tells me the fire's either jumped perimeter lines or it's moving at a pace that's outrunning road access. The Canadian Armed Forces only mobilize airlift when communities are cut off or under direct threat. This is likely an active structure protection scenario where crews on the ground can't guarantee evacuation routes staying clear. That's the kind of situation you see when the fire's running on extreme FWI conditions and terrain's funneling the head straight at populated areas. If you've got a go bag ready and your evac plan mapped before orders drop, you're ahead of 80% of folks watching this.
As we land, a Chinook helicopter is also touching down. And coming off it, some of the very last people to leave Puckatawagan. Being out of there, both a relief and a trauma.
The winds were rotating around the community quite a bit, so the helicopters and planes were grounded quite often.
How did you make a choice of what to bring with you?
Just carry whatever you could. One bag, one carry-on.
See those military transport planes loaded up? That's a telltale sign the wildfire's likely running on sustained extreme fire weather indices, probably FWI in the 40+ range if they're pulling civilian airlift. When you hit those numbers, ember-cast distances blow out to 2, sometimes 3 kilometers ahead of the flame front, especially if there's a slope or valley wind funneling the run. The terrain around the evacuation zone is almost certainly acting as a chimney, accelerating the fire uphill and pushing spot fires way downwind of the main head. Ground crews can protect structure clusters, but they can't cover evacuation routes fast enough when the fire's got that kind of atmospheric muscle behind it.
Thought to be just the first responders and firefighters, the team decides to take one last loop just to make sure. The winds have been worsening, so they need to leave fast. It's roughly an hour flight north, but quickly they have to climb. The smoke is too thick. And see that? The plume is rising even at 8,000 feet. And closer to Puckatawagan,
Look at the coordination happening behind those flights. That's a multi-agency chain. Provincial Wildfire Incident Command coordinating with Canadian Armed Forces, Air Operations Center managing the airlift schedule, and ground crews holding perimeter positions while civilians move out. When you're running military evacuation, the incident commanders already made the call that air tankers and ground attack won't hold the line fast enough. The fire's likely overrunning pre-positioned crews, which means the fuel load or wind direction just shifted hard. That's why mutual aid agreements between provinces matter. Alberta crews might be rolling into British Columbia, or vice versa to backfill positions the fire just overran. One evacuation flight means dozens more are probably staged and ready to go.
They're pretty high, and I think they're causing some problems for some of the fires around here, but in this community, things are stable.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck. You be safe.
Then back onto the Chinook. It's loud, too loud to talk, but we exchange notes. The little guy, Bryden, is 4. That is Christy and Keith. He's in public works and stayed to do his job until the last second, and they've all run out of time. This kind of experience is...
Military airlift hitting this zone means crews on the ground just lost the race to hold defensible perimeter. The fire's likely spotting ahead faster than ground teams can suppress. If you live in the evacuation corridor, this is the hard lesson. Defensible space isn't about looking neat. It's about buying your house 30 extra seconds when embers start landing. Clear vegetation within 10 meters of your roof. Thin trees to 6-meter spacing. Rake gutters weekly during fire season. Those gaps between trees are fire breaks. Every meter of cleared space around your foundation is a zone where embers lose momentum before reaching siding or vents. You can't outrun a military evacuation order, but you can harden what you're leaving behind so crews have half a chance when they punch back into the neighborhood after the head moves through. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. British Columbia is backing new lightning detection tech to stop fires before they start. That's the kind of prevention I'm all about. Meanwhile, the Wildfire Service is hammering small fires popping up around Kamloops right now, keeping crews sharp and ahead of the spread. And good news from the coast, that wildfire near Mount Currie is now under control. What's clicking for me here is the mix. Tech on the front end stopping ignitions, boots on the ground stopping small fires fast, and containment wins. That's the playbook working. Kamloops area stays on watch though. Lightning season isn't done yet. Stay tight, folks. We'll track these as they develop. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. South Coast BC just went no campfire zone. Entire Nanaimo Regional District is locked down as fire danger stays hot. That means zero tolerance for backcountry burns until conditions drop. Meanwhile, Enderby's fire near Thompson-Nicola is holding, but new burning restrictions kick in Thursday across that zone too. And look, we're not even peak season yet. Both provinces are already fielding active fires and smoke that's got folks reaching for air filters. The pattern's clear. Early, aggressive, widespread. This is exactly why your go bag and evacuation plan need to be locked in now, not August. We'll track every order and band shift as it lands. Stay tight, chat, more as it develops. Eyes up, the fire desk has the boards. "25 fires across the boards right now, and honestly, folks, we're in a decent spot. Most are being held or controlled. Connie Lake is the heavyweight at 190 hectares up in British Columbia, but crews have that one stabilized. Webster Creek and Ferriby are both human-caused and both being managed tight. Here's what I'm sniffing. 3 fires, 3 person-caused incidents. That's the pattern to watch. If you're in British Columbia's interior or heading out there, double-check your campfire setup and watch those evacuation alerts. One spark away from a different story. What's the weather looking like? Sticking around to find out. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run-through. British Columbia's green-lighting new wildfire tech right now, and Kamloops is ground zero for a trial that's testing AI to actually predict fire risk and suppress lightning before it strikes. That's the prevention play, catching danger before the spark lands. Meanwhile, BCWS crews are already rolling on small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake, so the season's not waiting around. The combo here matters. We're investing in smarter tools while crews are actively fighting, which tells you the pressure's on both ends. Ears up on that Kamloops trial. If it works, it's a game changer for the whole region. Stay tight, we'll track all 3 as they develop. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run-through. Kamloops area's got several small fires still active right now, and that's not the only heat in the region. Chase just lit up with a new fire that's already listed out of control. Both situations are in that interior corridor where conditions have been primed for spread and crews are stretched. Chase especially is worth your eyes on because out-of-control fires move fast and can shift evacuation pictures quick. If you're in that zone, Wildfire-Ready's Watch Tower would be pinging your phone with any order changes the second they drop. We're tracking both. Smoke's going to push depending on wind direction through the afternoon, and we'll keep you locked in as this develops. Stay tight. Pulling some archival footage from May 28, 2025, Global News was on the ground when wildfires lit up Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba all at once. 3 provinces, same fire season pressure, families packing up fast. This one's a solid reminder of how quick evacuation orders can ripple across the prairies when conditions align. Let's roll the tape and see what folks were dealing with back then.
Well, Andrew, fires are rapidly spreading across the north under these incredibly hot and dry conditions. There's currently 17 active fires in northern Saskatchewan, 10 of those burning out of control, not able to be contained by firefighting crews on the ground. There are currently thousands of residents and workers in the north that have been forced to evacuate in more than a dozen communities. The largest of those is Pelican.
Okay, so 3 provinces lighting up at once. Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. That's a multi-jurisdiction response nightmare. When fires cross provincial lines, you've got different incident command structures, different resource pools, different evacuation protocols, all trying to coordinate in real time. The crews on screen right now are likely running triage. Which communities are in the direct path? Which ones need pre-positioning of dozers and helicopters? Which evacuation routes are still passable before smoke columns block visibility? This is exactly why Watchtower alerts matter. Folks need hours of notice, not minutes. When a fire's jumping between provinces and the smoke's moving faster than the fire itself.
280 staff, both firefighting crews and support workers on the ground there, forced to flee, head further south, and the staging area that they had set up was completely burned and destroyed. So the situation on the ground very quickly evolving for both residents and for the firefighting crews battling these fires in the north.
And now in Manitoba, Premier Rob Canoe and officials have given an update on the situation there next door. What did we learn?
See those evacuation zones spreading across 3 provinces? That's a classic multi-day wind-driven scenario playing out. When you've got high pressure anchored over the prairies and a low-pressure system spinning in from the northwest, you get sustained 30-plus kilometer-per-hour winds at the surface layer. Exactly what's pushing these fires across Saskatchewan and Manitoba right now. The fuel moisture codes in that region are brutal this time of year. The fine fuel moisture code is likely sitting in the 85 to 95 range, meaning even grass and small shrubs ignite instantly. Crews evacuating folks aren't fighting the fire's perimeter. They're racing the wind's timeline. That's why multiple provinces coordinating evacuation routes matters more than aerial drops right now.
A couple of areas of concern in Manitoba. The first of those, Lynn Lake. It's a community of about 600 people in the northwest of the province, currently under an evacuation order since yesterday morning as residents were asked to leave the community by the town. We also heard as well an update about a fire burning near Flin Flon. This is actually a fire that started on the Saskatchewan side of the border. grew very quickly.
You're watching mutual aid agreements kick into overdrive right now. When Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba coordinate on fires this size, they're pooling air tanker fleets, sharing ground crews, and running unified incident command posts. But here's the friction point: each province's got different contract terms with their aerial contractors. Alberta might have DC-10s pre-positioned, Saskatchewan might be pulling in helicopters from the mining sector. That lag between fires cross the border and first air tanker arrives can be hours. Ground crews meanwhile are doing structure triage, which homes get fuel breaks and sprinkler systems prepped, which evacuation zones get priority access to the supply lines. That coordination window is maybe 36 hours before the fire outpaces logistics entirely.
Like, getting some views on YouTube is not worth it. You got a community of thousands of people who's on the verge of evacuation, and one of the reasons is because we couldn't fly water bombers in the area. And, you know, putting your drone up there and getting a video that you can share is simply not worth it. You have to put the good of the community ahead of your own interests right now. You should probably do so at all times, but especially right now.
So the Premier there reminding people to
Folks watching those evacuation zones sprawl across 3 provinces. Here's the fire-smart reality hitting those communities right now. Defensible space on the prairies looks different than the coast. You're not clearing dense timber, you're managing grassland fuel load within 100 meters of structures. That means mowing down cured grass to 2 centimeters, removing dead shrubs, spacing any trees you've got to a crown base height of 2 meters minimum. Alberta and Saskatchewan homeowners in those evacuation zones who didn't do that work last spring, their homes are sitting in tinderbox conditions right now. The crews evacuating folks will circle back to point protect the best positioned houses, ones with cleared perimeters already in place. That 10 hours of chainsaw work in July just became the difference between a structure standing and ash.
So much fuel on the ground with this dry brush that's out there, a lack of precipitation. It's creating for some very difficult conditions for crews as they try and contain these fires and stop them from spreading. Andrew?
This ABC's Alexander Silberman in Regina. As the wildfire situation worsens in Manitoba, the Northern Health Region says it plans to relocate some patients. In a statement on social media, officials say they are acting out of an abundance of caution. The statement says to prioritize
3 provinces means mutual aid resources are already stretched thin before the fire even peaks. Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba each run separate wildfire centers with different equipment caches, air tankers, helicopters, ground crews, all pre-positioned for their own geography. When a fire crosses a provincial border, there's a real lag between when one province's resources max out and when the next province's assets actually arrive on scene. Right now those evacuation corridors are the bottleneck. If smoke closes Highway 16 or the secondary routes through Saskatchewan, you've got families trying to move east while fires pushing the same direction. The crews orchestrating this are literally playing logistics chess with a moving target. Every hour the wind holds steady buys them another 15 or 20 kilometers of reaction time.
Couple of stories breaking on the wire. Folks, quick run through.
24 heat records shattered across BC today, and that's the match to the kindling we've been watching build all month. FWI ratings are climbing hard, and folks in the interior need to know their defensible space and evacuation routes matter right now, not next week. Meanwhile, Kamloops is running a trial to test AI wildfire prevention and lightning suppression early tech stuff, worth watching to see if it moves the needle. And over near Chase and Johnson Lake, BC Wildfire Service is already on small fire response. That's the pattern we track: heat spikes, fire activity flares, and the gaps between prevention and response get thinner. Check your go bag. Tighten up your perimeter. We'll stay locked on this one as it develops. Stay tight, chat.
3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast.
Kamloops is still dealing with several small wildfires burning across the area right now. Meanwhile, over near Chase, crews just spotted a new fire that's already listed as out of control. That's the one we're tracking closely. And here's the silver lining: BC just announced funding to support local tech aimed at reducing lightning-ignited fires before they even start. That's the prevention side kicking in while we're managing what's active on the ground. The chase fire is the one to watch this hour. Crews are responding, but conditions matter here. Any wind shift, any heat spike, and this one could move. If you're in the central interior, keep your phone close and your go bag topped up. We'll have updates as this develops, folks. Stay tight.
3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast.
BC's got some real momentum this cycle. First up, the province is backing new tech to catch lightning fires before they blow up. Early detection gear that watches for strikes in real time. That's the kind of prevention play we love to see. Meanwhile, the Wildfire Service is grinding it out around Kamloops with a cluster of smaller fires, but crews are staying ahead of them. Good containment work happening there. And over in Squamish, that Mount Currie fire's now under control, which is solid news for the sea-to-sky folks. 3 different angles, same story, crews are awake, resources are flowing, and the tech's getting smarter. We'll keep tabs on the Kamloops action, especially as heat builds this week. Stay tight, folks. More as it develops.
3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast.
Campfire bans now live across B.C's South Coast. Nanaimo Regional District included as fire danger stays elevated. Meanwhile, the BC Wildfire Service is actively pushing back against a cluster of small fires around Kamloops, keeping crews on high alert. And both provinces are already feeling it. Wildfire season's officially ramped up across BC and Alberta earlier than some folks expected. Here's the thing, these aren't isolated incidents. This is the system telling us the tinder's dry and ready. If you haven't fire-smarted your property yet, today's the day. Grab your go-bag checklist, check those gutters, clear 5 meters back from your house. We'll track these hotspots close and update you as crews work. Stay tight.
Tails up, ears wide. We got breaking news on the line.
Mount Currie wildfires now under control. Crews got ahead of it before things spiraled. That's the Squamish area, sea-to-sky corridor, and honestly that's a win for early response and favorable conditions working together. Folks in that zone can breathe a little easier, but keep your go bag close and stay tuned to evacuation alerts just in case the wind shifts. This is exactly the kind of story that shows prevention and quick action working. We'll keep eyes on it as conditions evolve. What else is cooking out there? Stay tight.
Eyes up, the fire desk has the boards.
25 fires on the board across Canada right now, and here's the thing, Kenai Lake up in BC is our biggest player at 190 hectares, but it's holding steady under control. Webster Creek and Ferriby running smaller, also being held. All 3-person caused, which means this is still in our hands, folks. The good news? We're not seeing any of these break containment. The watch line is simple: keep an eye on whether any of these flare back up if we get a heat spike. And folks, if you're out there, that spark from your campfire or unattended burn could be the next one on this list. Stay sharp. We're picking up where we left off on that CBC News piece from 3 days ago. They were tracking how B.C's record heat is firing up wildfires while simultaneously tanking water supplies, basically a worst-case squeeze. CBC's got boots on the ground showing you exactly how that's playing out in real communities right now. Let's get back to it.
This was what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs, and a hot summer in the forecast means more restrictions are coming in June.
Almost a full ban on outdoor water use, so it gets quite a bit stricter. So we won't want to see people washing their cars.
Record heat in BC is the match, and bone-dry fuel is the kindling. Those conditions you're seeing on screen, the parched grass, the stressed tree canopy, that's a recipe for rapid fire spread. When ambient temperatures spike into the mid-30s Celsius, relative humidity crashes, and the fine fuel moisture code drops hard. We're talking fire behavior that can move kilometers in hours, not days. What crews are doing right now is likely structure protection and evacuation support rather than trying to catch the head. The math just doesn't work when the fire's moving faster than ground crews can travel.
Warning people to think about their safety. In 2021, more than 600 British Columbians died during a heat dome.
Where does it look like for me to cool down? Where might I be able to go stay if I have to be somewhere for a few days?
Spring temperatures that Vancouver hasn't seen in more than 100 years. And the season is just...
3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast.
24 heat records across BC right now. We're talking highs that haven't been seen in decades, and that's stacking the fire risk higher every single day. Meanwhile, Kamloops is running a trial on AI wildfire prevention and lightning suppression, which honestly feels timely given what we're watching. And over near Chase and Johnson Lake, BCWS is already responding to small fires popping up. Here's what matters: record heat plus active fire season means your defensible space and go bag aren't just nice to haves anymore, they're urgent. Check your property this week. Wildfire-ready alert. Read details.
Hey, hey, hey! Diesel at the desk, fully caffeinated, fully unsupervised. Big day on the boards. Strap in. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. British Columbia's melting. 24 heat records down across the province and the FWI's climbing hard. We're talking dangerous fire weather, stacking up just as BCWS is already rolling on small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake. Meanwhile, Kamloops is hosting something wild, a trial testing AI to actually suppress lightning strikes before they ignite. Long shot? Maybe. But if it works, it changes the game. Heat records plus active fire response plus prevention tech all hitting at once. That's the whole season in microcosm right there. FWI is going to spike fast in this heat, so if you've got a go-bag plan, now's the time to dust it off. We're watching those chase fires close and tracking the forecast hard. Stay tight, more as it develops. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. British Columbia's ramping up lightning strike tech to catch fires before they spread. Government backing innovation that could flag ignitions in real time. And that's exactly the kind of prevention win we need. Meanwhile, the Wildfire Service is holding the line around Kamloops with aggressive attacks on smaller fires popping up in that region, keeping them from merging into something worse. And over in Squamish, the Mount Currie fire's now under control after crews pushed hard these past few days. 3 different stories, same theme, early detection and fast response work. This is what it looks like when the system locks in. We'll keep you posted as crews stay on top of these. Chat, what's the weather looking like tomorrow? That's the real wild card right now. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. South Coast BC's under a total campfire ban now, Nanaimo Regional District included, because fire danger's still running hot out there. Meanwhile, Kamloops is dealing with several small wildfires still active in the area, and Alberta's already feeling the season kick in hard alongside BC. What's notable here is we're not even at peak summer yet, and the conditions are primed. That's 3 separate signals telling us the fuel's dry, the weather's working against us, and this season's going to demand we stay sharp. If you've got a property in any of these zones, now's the time to walk your defensible space, clear that debris, trim those branches, lock down your go bag. We'll be tracking every active fire and weather shift as it moves. Stay tight. Tails up, ears wide, we got breaking news on the line. A fresh fire's burning out of control near Chase right now. That's between Kamloops and Vernon, interior British Columbia, and it's moving fast enough that crews are treating it as active and spreading. Exact size still coming in, but anything labeled out of control in this heat and these fuel conditions get serious real quick. If you're in that zone, keep your phone on and your go bag topped up. Evacuation orders can drop minutes after discovery. We're tracking this one hard. Stay tight, more as it develops. All right, 3 days ago CBC dropped this one and it's still hitting hard. Record heat in British Columbia, wildfires spinning up, and now water supplies are getting sketchy. This is the climate crunch playing out in real time. Heat, fire, and drought all tangled together. Let's see what they found on the ground. Roll the tape.
Snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this was what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs, and a hot summer in the forecast means more restrictions are coming in June.
Almost a full ban on outdoor water use, so it gets quite a bit stricter. So we won't want to see people washing their cars.
So record heat plus wildfire in the same breath, that's the real story here. When temperatures spike like BC's doing right now, the fire weather index jumps fast.
What's up, chat? Diesel checking in, ears up, tail going. Fire season's loud, I'm louder, let's roll. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. British Columbia's backing new lightning detection tech to stop fires before they start, which is solid. Fewer ignitions means fewer emergencies down the line. Meanwhile, crews around Kamloops are hammering small fires hard right now, keeping them scattered and manageable. And good news out of Squamish, that Mount Currie fire's now under control. 3 different angles here, but same story. Lightning season's ramping up, crews are ready, and early action works. We'll track any flare-ups across both regions. Stay tight. Couple of stories breaking on the wire. Folks, quick run through. South Coast BC just went full campfire ban, Nanaimo Regional District included, because fire danger's still cooking despite the season just ramping up. Meanwhile, heat records are tumbling across the province, 24 of them, which means conditions for fire spread are only getting worse. And Alberta's already in it too. This is early and aggressive, folks. Your defensible space, your go bag, your evacuation plan, these aren't future tasks anymore, they're now tasks. We'll stay tight on the FWI ratings and any evacuation alerts that follow. More as it develops. Wires going off, multiple breaking now, here we go. Kamloops is running an AI trial right now to predict lightning strikes and stop fires before they start, basically teaching the machine to think like a fire before it happens. Meanwhile, BCWS is actively responding to small wildfires near Chase and Johnson Lake, so the intel's getting real-world tested fast. This is exactly the kind of prevention muscle we need firing on all cylinders heading into peak season. We'll track both angles, the tech side and the live response, so stay tight, more as it develops. All right. CBC just posted this 3 days ago. Heat records are smashing across British Columbia, and the dominoes are falling. Wildfires lighting up, water systems stressed. Let's see what they found on the ground. Roll the tape.
Heat means it's melting fast.
We're at about 45% of our normal snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this is what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs, and a hot summer in the forecast means more restrictions are coming.
Record heat across BC is the accelerant here. We're talking temperatures climbing into the mid-30s Celsius in regions that should be cooler by late summer, and that kind of heat dries out surface fuels down to danger.
Tail wag from the watch tower. Diesel reporting. Headsets on. The wire's hot, and I have not been fed yet. British Columbia's rolling out new tech to catch lightning strikes before they spark. Early detection gear that could cut ignition time and give crews a head start. Meanwhile, down in Kamloops, the wildfire service is holding the line on a cluster of small fires popping up around town, staying aggressive before they spread. And some good news out of Squamish, that Mount Currie fire's now under control after crews pushed hard these past days. 3 different stories, same message. The province has got its eyes up and the resources moving. Lightning season's ramping, so this tech push matters. Stay tight, more as it develops. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. South Coast British Columbia just went full campfire. Lockdown. Nanaimo and surrounding regions, no open flames, period. That's how hot things are getting. Meanwhile, heat records are tumbling across the province. 24 new highs in a single stretch. And Alberta's already seeing active fire season kickoff alongside British Columbia. The FWI ratings are climbing faster than my recall on a hike. This isn't September fire season showing up early, it's May fire season showing up now. Stay sharp, check your evacuation plans, and if you're anywhere near the south coast, the campfire ban means it. We're not messing around. We'll track every shift as it lands. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. Kamloops is running a trial right now on AI wildfire prevention and lightning suppression, early stage tech that could change how we fight fire before it starts. Meanwhile, BCWS crews are actively responding to small wildfires near Chase and Johnson Lake, so the season's definitely awake out there. The AI play is long-term prevention. The Chase fires are right now reality. Both matter. Stay tight. We'll keep you posted as the day develops. All right, folks. CBC just dropped this 3 days ago, and it's still hitting hard. Record heat in British Columbia, wildfires spinning up, water systems getting stressed. This is the reality check we're watching unfold right now. Roll the tape.
At about 45% of our normal snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this was what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs, and a hot summer in the forecast means more restrictions are coming in June.
Almost a full ban on outdoor water use, so it gets
Record heat's the accelerant here. We're talking FWI ratings likely pushing extreme territory, which means fuel moisture is critically low and any ignition runs fast. B.CS had back-to-back heat waves through July and August, and that drying effect on grassland and forest litter compounds every single day the thermometer stays up. What's happening on screen right now is exactly why fire-smart defensible space matters so much. Crews can't stop every fire, but they can protect individual homes if the perimeter's clear and vegetation's trimmed back. The real concern is timing. If this ignition spreads into populated areas before crews establish containment lines, evacuation orders follow fast. Watch for BC Wildfire's resource deployment in the next few hours. They'll be pulling crews from lower priority zones to hit this one hard before wind or afternoon heating makes it run.
I have to be somewhere for a few days.
Spring temperatures that Vancouver hasn't seen in more than 100 years, and the season is just...
All right, folks, Fireboard coming up. Connie Lake sitting at 190 hectares over in British Columbia, and crews have got it under control. That's the win today. Webster Creek and Ferriby trailing behind, both being held steady. 25 fires across the country right now, but the big dog's on a leash. Chat, we'll keep watching the weather, because that's where the next move comes from. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. 24 heat records tumbling across British Columbia right now, and that's lighting the fuse on wildfire season early. Meanwhile, over in Kamloops, they're running a trial with AI to actually predict lightning strikes and prevent ignitions before they start. Ears are up on that one. And BCWS is already rolling on small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake, which tells you the conditions are primed. Heat plus dry grass plus early activity means your go bag needs a reality check today, not tomorrow. Stay tight, we're tracking this close. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. Kamloops is dealing with multiple small fires still active across the region right now. And meanwhile, over near Chase, crews just spotted a new one that's already listed as out of control. Both are in that interior corridor where conditions are staying hot and dry. The good news is resources are moving fast, but this is exactly the pattern we watch for in late summer. Scattered ignitions can chain together quick. Stick with us, we're tracking both zones and we'll update you the second anything shifts. All right. CBC put together a solid breakdown on what Canada's wildfire picture looks like heading into 2026. Posted this about a month back and it's still sharp intel. Let's roll it.
The exceptions are southern British Columbia and southern prairie, southwestern Saskatchewan through southern Alberta, where snow has come and gone over the winter. And we actually had our fire weather index calculation starting in
So to me, 2026 is a litmus test. If we get another bad fire season, which, the stage is set for that.
So CBC's pulling the 2026 forecast data right now, and here's what matters. Wildfire seasons aren't getting shorter, they're starting earlier and burning hotter.
We're a big country.
The models they're walking through are likely showing spring fire starts happening weeks ahead of the historical norm, which means crews have less prep time and fuel moisture drops faster than their suppression capacity can scale. What's critical is that the outlook feeds directly into how provinces fund and position resources right now. If forecasters are calling a severe season, that's when hiring contracts lock in, fire camp capacity gets reserved, cross-border mutual aid gets negotiated. Miss that window and you're fighting fires understaffed in August. Ears are up on this one.
Those fine fuels will, can carry that flame into trees which are dried from the winter, haven't started really to suck up the water, and it can get to a pretty good sized fire.
Story on the wire, here we go. We're not even at peak season and both provinces are already running hot. BC and Alberta are dealing with active fire activity right now, and that's the thing about wildfire season creeping earlier every year. It means you need your home-hardened and your evacuation plan locked in, now, not in August, when smoke's already rolling. Stick with me. We're breaking down what's burning and what you need to do about it. All right, folks, we're rolling a clip from 3 days back on BC's heat spike and what it's doing to wildfire risk and water. Let's see what's on the ground. Roll the tape.
Lowest it's been in a decade, and the record-breaking spring heat means it's melting fast.
We're at about 45% of our normal snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this is what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs.
Record-breaking heat in BC right now means the fire weather index is climbing into the severe range. We're talking FWI readings that unlock rapid spread potential across drought-stressed grassland and timber. Heat waves like this one don't just raise temperature, they drop fuel moisture down to critical thresholds where a single ignition can turn into a landscape-scale run in hours. Wildfire service crews are watching the afternoon thermal window today. That's typically 2 to 4 p.m. when upslope winds peak and fire behavior becomes most aggressive. If this clip's showing active growth, that's exactly the window where it happened. Water supply concerns follow because large fires in headwater basins can degrade reservoir intakes with ash and sediment, sometimes for weeks.
Could be a precursor to an exceptionally hot summer and is warning people to think about their safety. In 2021, more than 600 British Columbians died during a heat dome.
Where does it look like for me to cool down? Where might I be able to go stay if I have to be somewhere for a few days?
Spring temperatures that Vancouver hasn't seen in more than 100 years. And the
Tails up on this 1B.CS record heat is creating what fire scientists call a compound stress scenario. The drought's already dropped soil moisture into the danger zone, but when ambient temps spike this hard, the relative humidity crashes to single digits by mid-afternoon. That's the window where even a small ignition becomes a crown fire in minutes, especially across the interior's ponderosa pine and dry grassland. Water concerns aren't just about fighting the fire itself. Ash and debris from a large burn can render intake structures unusable for months, forcing communities into emergency rationing. This is exactly why defensible space around your home matters most in high heat years like this one.
Couple of stories breaking on the wire. Folks, quick run through. British Columbia's funding lightning detection tech right now. That's smart play, because lightning starts roughly a third of our biggest fires and we can't stop the strikes. Meanwhile, wildfire crews around Kamloops are actively pushing back on small fires before they get legs, which is exactly the prevention mindset we need. And over in Squamish, that Mount Currie fire's now under control, so crews got ahead of it. 3 different angles of the same story: early action, tech, crew response, all working. Stay tight, we'll track these as they develop. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. South Coast British Columbia just went no campfire zone. Nanaimo Regional District and beyond are locked down as fire danger stays real elevated. Meanwhile, wildfire season's already hammering both provinces hard. These bans don't come light. They mean conditions are primed. The good news is, we're catching it early, which means this is your moment to lock down your defensible space, top off your go bag, and get your evacuation plan squared away before things get hotter. We'll track every shift on this one. Stay tight. Quick check on the weather desk. All right, folks, frost advisory rolling across Canada tonight. Blanket up those garden plans and bring the patio furniture in. Nothing catastrophic, but definitely worth the heads up if you're prepping defensible space around the house. Clear skies mean crisp mornings, which is actually solid fire weather intel. We'll dig into today's FWI numbers in just a second. All right, folks, CBC dropped a look at what Canada's wildfire season could look like heading into 2026 about a month back. Let's see what they're predicting. Roll the tape.
Expect too much activity early in the spring, at least. The exceptions are southern British Columbia and southern prairie, southwestern Saskatchewan through southern Alberta, where snow's come and gone over the winter, and we actually had our fire weather index calculation starting in
So to me, 2026 is a litmus test. If we get another bad fire season, which, the stage is
Heads
set
up, a
for that.
2026 outlook means they're pulling together fire season forecasting from Environment Canada, Natural Resources Canada, and the provincial agencies to model what conditions could look like next summer. That's historical burn data, fuel loading maps, and climate projections all stacked together. The key insight folks miss is that these outlooks drop in late winter specifically so communities and governments can lock in fire-smart funding, pre-position crews, and update evacuation protocols before April rolls around. If the models are flagging elevated risk in your region, that's your signal to get your home ignition zone assessed and your go bag drilled now, not in July when smoke's already rolling.
It takes very little to spark that material off, and if it's a dry, windy day, those fine fuels will, can carry that flame into trees which are dried from the winter, haven't started really to suck up the water, and it can get to a pretty good sized fire.
Story on the wire, here we go. All right, Kamloops is still hosting a few tail wag from the watch tower. Diesel reporting. Headsets on, the wire's hot, and I have not. Yo, Diesel here. Vest on, headset cranked, treats nowhere in sight. Welcome to the Watchtower, folks. Let's go. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. British Columbia's backing new lightning detection tech to catch strikes before they spark. And that's smart money. Most wildfires here start from a single bolt. Meanwhile, the wildfire service is grinding through a cluster of small fires around Kamloops, keeping them contained before they spread. And over in Squamish, the Mount Currie fire's now under control after crews pushed hard on the perimeter. 3 solid wins, but summer's just ramping up, and we're watching that lightning threat close. More details rolling in. Stay tight. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. 24 heat records just shattered across British Columbia. We're talking record-breaking temps stacking the fire weather deck hard. Meanwhile, Kamloops researchers are launching a trial with AI to actually prevent lightning strikes before they start. Ambitious stuff. And right now, BCWS is actively responding to small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake. Here's what matters. That heat isn't cooling down, so every spark today counts double. The AI trial could be game-changing if it works. But for now, your defensible space and go bag are still the front line. We'll track those chase fires close and update you as they develop. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run-through. Kamloops is dealing with multiple small fires still active right now, and Chase just saw a new one pop up that's already marked out of control. Meanwhile, the South Coast Fire Ban just went live across the Nanaimo Regional District and beyond because danger ratings are still running hot. 3 separate pressure points in a few hours tells you the season's not backing down. FWI's elevated, conditions are primed, and crews are stretched. If you're in these zones, double-check your go bag and know your evacuation route before the next alert drops. We're watching these real close. Stay tight, more as it develops. Heads up, breaking news straight from the Watch Tower. BC and Alberta are already in it. Wildfires ramping up earlier than usual this year. We're talking active fires, smoke moving across communities, and cool fact for you. Big fires can build their own thunderstorms. Pyrocumulonimbus clouds, fire clouds, push smoke and heat so high they spawn lightning. That lightning starts more fires. Nature's worst feedback loop. Here we go. What's burning today? Connie Lake's our headline. 190 hectares in British Columbia, under control, but crews are still hot on it. Webster Creek down at 66 and holding steady. 3 fires, all pointed the right direction. Ears are up, though. We're watching the weather window close fast this week. What's the chat seeing out there? All right, folks, CBC filed this one 3 days ago, and it's still hitting hard. Record heat in British Columbia is waking up the fire season early and straining water supplies at the same time. Let's roll the tape.
Spring heat means it's melting fast.
We're at about 45% of our normal snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this is what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs.
B.C's Heat Dome is running the playbook that sparked last year's record season. We're talking FWI ratings likely pushing into the extreme zone across the interior right now. Record heat doesn't just dry out surface fuels, it preps the whole fuel column, needles, small branches, everything. Crews are already shifting into point protection mode on communities rather than trying to flank these runs. If this fires anywhere near populated areas, BC Wildfire will be staging structure protection teams ahead of the fire, not behind it. That's the reality when heat breaks records before summer officially peaks.
And some people are more vulnerable to extreme heat than others. In terms of
this heat researcher says high spring temperatures could be a precursor to an exceptionally hot summer and is warning people to think about their safety. In 2021, more than 600 British Columbians died during a heat dome.
Where does it look like for me to cool down? Where might I be able to go stay if I have to be somewhere for a few days?
Spring temperatures that Vancouver hasn't seen.
Water supply concerns hit different when you're running record heat. B.C's interior watersheds are already depleted heading into peak fire season, and every high-intensity run in the next few weeks burns through snowpack melt that communities count on through September. That heat dome's not just drying surface fuels, it's pulling moisture from soil and vegetation faster than normal. Relative humidity crashes to single digits on days like this, which means any ignition source turns into a run within hours. The wildfire water feedback loop is brutal. Big fires consume the forests that slow runoff and stabilize watersheds, so next year's supply stress gets worse. BC wildfire and water authorities are already coordinating on priority protection zones because losing structural cover in key catchments cascades across the whole supply chain for months.
Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. British Columbia is backing new lightning detection tech to stop fires before they start. That's the kind of prevention play I'm here for. Meanwhile, Kamloops crews are grinding through small fires around the region right now, keeping them from spreading. And good news from the coast, that Mount Currie wildfire is now under control. 3 different stories, 1 theme, early action works. Lightning's going to keep striking, but smarter detection and fast response mean fewer acres lost. We'll keep eyes on the Kamloops situation as it develops. Chat, stick around. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks, quick run through. South Coast BC is shutting down campfires effective immediately. The entire Nanaimo regional district's now under a ban as fire danger stays elevated. Meanwhile, the season's already burning hard across both BC and Alberta, and we're tracking multiple active fires right now. This is early, folks. This is the pattern we've been warning about. If you've got a trip planned, ditch the campfire pit and go with a camp stove instead. Stay locked in. We're monitoring every shift. More as it develops. Top of the wire. Take a look. New structure fires popped up near Chase, and British Columbia's got it flagged as out of control right now. That's interior territory. Folks in that zone need to stay locked on evacuation alerts and have a bag packed if you haven't already. We're tracking it live. Stick with us. All right, folks, CBC dropped this one 5 days ago, and it's still hitting hard Alberta and British Columbia, both lighting up, alert stacking, and we're diving into what's actually happening on the ground. Let's roll it.
Community was under a state of emergency until late Sunday afternoon. The roughly 300 residents were ready to evacuate at a moment's notice.
It's very concerning because we have so many animals, about 50 animals total on the property. So to get everybody rounded up and get them out of here safely, it's a big job.
Tiffany Fortin says her evacuation plan includes tagging her animals, and every wildfire season is a scare. Village officials say this may
Airs up Alberta and BC both lighting up means 2 provinces hitting peak fire weather the same window, and that's a staffing crunch crews didn't want. When FWI ratings spike simultaneously across the prairies and the coast, incident commanders lose flexibility. Fast helicopters, crews, equipment gets stretched thin, covering multiple fronts. Today's alert means both provinces' wildfire services are running skeleton crews on smaller fires right now, betting the big ones stay manageable. If a new high wind event or heat dome drops in the next 48 hours, response times climb and containment gets dicey. This is exactly when folks need to be checking their fire-smart defensible space. Crews won't have time to knock on doors if things go sideways.
Prepared for potentially kind of worse conditions and a worse fire season.
In Sandy Beach, the winds that were expected haven't materialized, allowing crews to keep the fire under control. Standing by.
Weather's on the wire. Here we go. All right, chat. Frost advisory across the country. Nothing that'll torch a house, but if you're in the prairies or British Columbia interior tonight, that first freeze is coming hard and fast. Protect your water lines, check your go bag still dry, and keep an eye on that FUI. We're not done with fire season just yet. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. BC just torched 24 heat records in a single day. That's wildfire fuel drying out in real time. Meanwhile, Kamloops is running a trial on AI lightning suppression and wildfire prevention, which could change the game if it works. And over in the interior, near Chase and Johnson Lake, British Columbia Wildfire Service is already mopping up small fires. The heat records are the real story here. Every degree cranks up fire risk, and we're not even peak season yet. Stay tight. We'll track those new starts and the weather all afternoon. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. Kamloops is dealing with multiple small fires still active in the area right now. Meanwhile, over near Chase, crews just spotted a new one that's already listed as out of control. Interior British Columbia's been on edge, and this is exactly the pattern we watch for. One fire draws resources, another pops up while folks are stretched thin. We're tracking both, and if you're in those zones, keep your phone close and your go bag ready. We'll have updates as this develops. All right, fresh from CBC about a month back, they're breaking down what Canada's wildfire outlook looks like heading into 2026. Let's see what they're calling. Roll the tape.
Activity early in the spring, at least. The exceptions are southern British Columbia and southern prairie, southwestern Saskatchewan through southern Alberta, where snow's come and gone over the winter, and we actually had our fire weather index calculation starting in
So to me, 2026 is a litmus test. If we get another bad fire
Okay,
season,
so a 2026 outlook means they're running the models now, and here's what that tells you. Wildfire forecasters are already seeing patterns in sea surface temps, soil moisture, and spring snowpack that point to either a bad season or a manageable one. Canada's fire agencies lean on the fire weather index and seasonal drought predictions months ahead because prevention decisions, pre-positioning crews, fuel reduction projects, evacuation planning all hinge on that early read. If they're flagging 2026 as elevated risk, that's not doomsaying, that's them saying the conditions are trending toward active fire behavior earlier or more intensely than average. Watch for what regions they're calling out. Prairie provinces, Boreal Belt, or coastal BC all tell different stories about what's driving the forecast.
Those fine fuels will, can carry that that flame into trees which are dried from the winter, haven't started really to suck up the water, and it can get to a pretty good sized fire.
Story on the wire, here we go. Campfire ban just went live across British Columbia's south coast. Folks, Nanaimo Regional District included. Fire danger's still running hot and they're not taking chances. If you've got a trip planned, bring the camp stove instead. We're tracking the Enderby fire and everything else heating up right now. All right, folks, CBC dropped this 3 days ago and it's still hitting hard. Record heat in British Columbia, wildfires cranking up, and water supplies getting squeezed. This is the reality check we need to see. Roll the tape.
Melting fast.
We're at about 45% of our normal snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this is what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs, and a hot summer in the forecast means more restrictions are coming in June.
Right, so B.C's heat record is the match, but look at what that does to fire conditions. When you're running 20+ degrees above seasonal normal, your fuel moisture drops fast, and your fire weather index spikes into the extreme range. We're talking FWI ratings in the mid-30s to low 40s across interior valleys. That's the threshold where fires stop responding to initial attack and start racing. The water supply angle they're flagging is real too. Heat drives demand up, snowpack melts earlier and faster, and wildfire ash contaminates the intakes. BC water and BC wildfire are basically in a race against the same thermometer.
Be a precursor to an exceptionally hot summer and is warning people to think about their safety. In 2021, more than 600 British Columbians died during a heat dome.
Where does it look like for me to cool down? Where might I be able to go stay if I have to be somewhere for a few days?
Spring temperatures that Vancouver hasn't seen in more than 100 years.
See that water supply concern they're flagging? Here's the hard part. B.C's interior reservoirs are fed by snow melt timing, and when you spike 20+ degrees above normal, that melt compresses into weeks instead of months. Your storage window shrinks fast. Add wildfire ash into the mix, it clogs treatment filters, raises turbidity, forces plants offline for cleaning, and you're looking at real supply stress by midsummer. Interior Health and BC Hydro are already gaming drought scenarios. The heat's not just igniting fuel, it's squeezing the same water you need to fight fires and keep taps running.
Wires going off, multiple breaking now, here we go. British Columbia's rolling out new lightning detection tech to catch ignitions faster before they blow up. Solid move on the prevention side. Meanwhile, out in Kamloops, the wildfire service is staying sharp on a cluster of smaller fires, keeping them pinned down before they spread. And good news from the sea to sky, that Mount Currie fire's now under control. 3 different stories, but same thread. Early action stops big problems. That's the whole game right there. We'll keep our eyes locked on the Kamloops situation and bring you updates as they come. Stay tight. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. South Coast British Columbia just went full campfire ban. Nanaimo Regional District included, because fire danger's still running hot despite the season barely ramping up. Meanwhile, Alberta's already feeling the heat too. Both provinces are seeing active fire activity way earlier than usual. This is the pattern we've been warning about all spring. Keep your go bag close, know your local evacuation routes, and if you're anywhere near those zones, assume every spark matters right now. We'll track this one close. Stay tight. All right, folks, fireboard coming up. All right, folks. Connie Lake up in British Columbia is sitting pretty at 190 hectares and under control. Crews got ahead of this one. Webster Creek right beside it, 66 hectares, same story. The chat knows what this means. Early detection and fast boots on the ground win the day. That's how we keep fire season from becoming a disaster. All right, folks. CBC grabbed some on-the-ground footage from Alberta and British Columbia just 5 days ago, when the alerts started stacking up. Let's see what they found out there. Roll the tape.
The Alberta community was under a state of emergency until late Sunday afternoon. The roughly 300 residents were ready to evacuate at a moment's notice.
It's very concerning because we have so many animals, about 50 animals total on the property. So to get everybody rounded up and get them out of here safely, it's a big job.
Tiffany Fortin says her evacuation plan includes tagging.
Ears up. Alberta and BC are lighting up the same week, which means crews are splitting resources across 2 provinces right now.
But it isn't.
When you've got multiple fires competing for helicopters, air tankers, and ground teams, the priority shifts to structure protection and evacuation corridors rather than stopping the head. That's why you're seeing so much emphasis on community alerts and go bags in the reporting. This isn't a single fire scenario anymore. Check your local evacuation order status daily because the window between alert and order can compress fast once conditions spike.
About 24 fires were burning, 4 of them considered out of control. BC Wildfire says it's too soon to know if it'll be a bad year.
The past couple springs, we've certainly seen these drought values or dryness, but what is the biggest factor really is the rain that we get in May and June. And if we don't get any rain, then we're certainly going to be prepared for potentially kind of worse conditions and a worse fire season.
In Sandy Beach, the winds that were expected.
Here's the thing about Alberta and BC both spiking at the same time. The fire weather window is overlapping. We're talking FWI ratings likely nudging into the high 20s to low 30s across the foothills and interior right now, which means fuel moisture is dropping fast and wind gusts can push flame lengths into the canopy instantly. When you've got beetle-killed pine mixed with grassland like you see across much of Alberta's wildland interface, that's a fuel recipe that doesn't just burn at torches. The terrain's also working against crews. Ridgetop fires shed embers downslope, and afternoon thermal winds can push a fire's active zone kilometers ahead of the perimeter in hours. That's why incident commanders are already leaning hard into structure triage instead of trying to hold a moving line.
Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. 24 heat records shattered across British Columbia today. And that's turbocharging wildfire risk right when we need it least. Meanwhile, Kamloops is running a trial on AI wildfire prevention and lightning suppression, basically teaching the computer to think like a fire. And BCWS crews are rolling on small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake, so the season's knocking already. The heat is the story here. Records falling means bone-dry fuel, faster fire spread, harder containment. Keep your eyes on those interior temperatures and your go bag within reach. We'll watch these chase fires close and track the FWI ratings through the day. Stay tight. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. Kamloops is dealing with multiple small fires still active in the region right now. Meanwhile, over near Chase, crews just spotted a new fire that's already listed as out of control. Both areas are in that interior corridor where conditions can flip fast. The good news is crews are on it, but this is exactly why we're watching the FWI ratings and heat forecasts hour by hour. If you're in or near those zones, keep your phone close and your go bag closer. We'll track both of these through the afternoon. Stay tight. Eyes up, the fire desk has the boards. Connie Lake's sitting at 190 hectares and holding steady up in British Columbia. That's our biggest mover right now, folks. Webster Creek's tucked under control at 66. 3 fires across the province, all trending the right direction. Weather's playing nice today. Keep those defensible spaces trimmed anyway. Fire season doesn't sleep. All right, CBC just dropped a look at what Canada's wildfire outlook is shaping up to be for 2026. Posted about a month back and still hitting different. Let's see what they're predicting. Roll the tape.
The exceptions are southern British Columbia and southern prairie, southwestern Saskatchewan through southern Alberta, where snow has come and gone over the winter, and we actually had our fire weather index calculation starting in
So to me, 2026 is a litmus test. If we get another bad fire season, which, the stage is set for that, that's our future, is that most
CBC's framing a 2026 outlook, which means they're pulling data from seasonal models and historical patterns. Canada's fire seasons are getting longer and hotter. We're talking earlier spring green up, drier fuel moisture through summer, heat waves arriving weeks earlier than the 30-year average. The National Fire Danger Rating System will be running even hotter indices across BC, Alberta, and the prairies come next year. What matters for folks watching, if 2025's already been a tough season, 2020's IXS baseline risk starts higher. That's not doom. That's why fire smart action and defensible space around your property matter now, not in May when the alerts land.
Can carry that flame into trees which are dried from the winter, haven't started really to suck up the water, and it can get to a pretty good sized fire.
Top of the wire. Take a look. Mount Currie fires under control. That's the word coming down from Squamish Chief. Crews made serious headway and the threat to that area is backed off. Good news for folks in that corridor. We'll keep tabs on mop-up ops. Stick with us. More coming your way after this. All right, folks, CBC dropped this one 3 days ago, and it's still hitting hard. Record heat in British Columbia, cranking up fire risk and draining the water supply. Let's roll the tape and see what's happening on the ground.
Record-breaking spring heat means it's melting fast.
We're at about 45% of our normal snowpack for this time of year, so would be more than double this is what we would like to see.
The low snowpack is already causing concerns when it comes to the region's water supply. Metro Vancouver has banned lawn watering to preserve shrinking reservoirs.
Record-breaking heat plus dry fuel equals the perfect storm, and that's exactly what we're seeing in BC right now. When you hit those sustained temperatures in the high 30s, relative humidity plummets, and any spark lightning, equipment, human error turns into a run. The FWI ratings across the province are likely sitting in the extreme zone, which means fire behavior becomes unpredictable and fast. What crews are watching for right now isn't just the fire itself but the secondary effects, water supply stress because streams are running low, and smoke impacts stacking on top of existing air quality problems. Heat waves and wildfires feed each other in BC this time of year, and today's reporting shows that cycle firing on all cylinders.
To an exceptionally hot summer and is warning people to think about their safety. In 2021, more than 600 British Columbians died during a heat dome.
Where does it look like for me to cool down? Where might I be able to go stay if I have to be somewhere for a few days?
Spring temperatures that Vancouver hasn't seen in more than 100 years.
B.C's water supply stress during peak heat is a wildfire multiplier most folks don't connect. When streams run low and reservoirs drop, fire crews lose access to portable water sources for structure protection. They're suddenly dependent on hydrant systems in towns, which tank fast under simultaneous demand. Interior BC fuel types right now are hitting critical moisture thresholds, probably sitting in the 40 to 50% range by mid-afternoon, which means ember spotting distances can stretch to 2 kilometers on slope-driven downdrafts. That heat plus drought combo doesn't just make fires start easier, it makes them jump barriers that would normally hold them. Watch how fast this thing crosses water features if the wind picks up.
3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. Kamloops crews are holding the line on several small fires popping up around the region right now. Meanwhile, that Mount Currie wildfire near Squamish is officially under control. Good news on that one. And here's the key alert. Campfires are banned across British Columbia's south coast effective immediately, including the entire Nanaimo Regional District, because fire danger's still running hot. So we're seeing crews win some battles while conditions stay tight enough to lock down recreational fire altogether. That's the balance right now. Aggressive suppression, where fires start, prevention mode everywhere else. We'll keep tracking these as they develop, chat. More coming in the next block. Wires going off, multiple breaking now. Here we go. 2 small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake in British Columbia got spotted and shut down fast by BCWS crews. That's the kind of quick response that saves seasons. Meanwhile, both provinces are already feeling the heat as wildfire season ramps up earlier and hotter than usual. The pattern's clear. Fire season's not waiting anymore. Keep your eyes on the forecast and your go bag ready. We'll stay locked on these and anything else that pops. More as it develops. Weather's on the wire. Here we go. Frost advisory lighting up coast to coast tonight, folks. Temps dropping hard from the Rockies to the Atlantic. Not the headline grabber wildfire season usually is, but here's the thing. Frost kills the green, dries out the fuel. Watch your defensible space vegetation. It's about to go crispy and flammable real fast. Bundle up out there. All right, folks. CBC Vancouver's got a solid case study for you. About a month back, wildfire sparked near Lillooet Nation, and the community crushed the response. Let's see how they pulled it off. Roll the tape.
Price tags and
couldn't be happier to have this expertise, experience, and energy.
Another MP crosses the floor to join the federal Liberals. They're 1 seat shy of a majority with by-elections on the way.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Lillooet Nation getting ahead of this one fast is exactly the playbook that works. Quick initial attack on a wildfire in that terrain. Steep, mixed conifer means crews hit it before it spreads into the drainage systems where it picks up speed and fuel continuity. BC wildfires response time here matters because spring fires in the coast mountains can blow upslope into old-growth timber fast once afternoon heating kicks in. The fact it's already under control tells you either the ignition was caught within hours or the crew positioning was dialed in tight. That's the difference between a 50-hectare hold and a runaway.
Coming to our team.
Southwestern Ontario MP Marilyn Gladue, a longtime Conservative, defecting to the Liberals team.
He's invited me to bring my experience, my talents, and my views into the large Liberal tent.
Some of those views at odds with the Liberals. Gladue opposed legalizing cannabis.
With drug-impaired driving and challenges
Steep terrain around Lillooet Nation actually works in the crew's favor here. Those valley bottom drainages funnel smoke upslope and away during the day, which means better visibility for spotters and harder for the fire to run downhill into timber where it accelerates. What matters is that spring FWI ratings in the South Coast right now sit around 8 to 12 moderate, not extreme, so the fuel moisture in that mixed conifer is still relatively cooperative. Once June hits and the snowpack clears completely, same ignition could have been catastrophic. BC wildfire caught the timing and the geography right on this one.
Pollster David Coletto says it raises questions about his leadership.
Not just how he appeals to the country and to Canadians, but how he's handled his own caucus. He lost a senior staffer this week as well, and so it is that question that keeps coming up is, can he work well with others?
Polyev online accusing Carney of seizing a costly Liberal majority. The voters
What you're watching right now is mutual aid logistics in real time. Lilwat Nation's own crews likely called in support from the South Coast Fire Centre's regional pool. That's BC Wildfire's pre-positioned engine teams, helicopters, and spotters staged across the lower mainland and sea-to-sky corridor specifically for spring ignitions in accessible terrain like this. The reason it's under control so fast isn't luck, it's incident command having mutual aid agreements locked in before fire season even starts, crews cross-trained on local drainage patterns, and air support on standby within 30 minutes of dispatch. That coordination between First Nations fire management and provincial response is the backbone of early wins like this one.
Justin McElroy reports on what the mayor is pitching ahead of October's municipal elections.
Remember this, Ken Sim?
I envision a Vancouver in the not so distant future that is super exciting again. A Vancouver with a renewed swagger.
That was Vancouver's mayor in his 2023 State of the City speech, an annual event put on by the city's Board of Trade.
Here's the thing about Lilwat Nation's terrain: those steep valley walls mean homeowners in that drainage need at least 30 meters of defensible space from the structure, not the standard 10. Spring fires that start upslope and get pushed downhill by afternoon thermals race straight into homes that haven't cleared deadwood and low branches. If you live in similar terrain around the sea-to-sky corridor or any steep-sided valley in the south coast, now's the time to remove standing deadfall and trim branches 6 meters up from your roof line. Crews can't protect every structure once a fire has momentum downhill. Your home's own buffer zone is what buys you time.
This zero means zero budget will be the first of two. I'm committing here today to another 0% property tax increase in 2027.
That's right. Zero means zero, 2.0. Sim said a property tax freeze for next year would happen, and then future tax increases would only be at the rate of inflation, but gave no new details about what cuts might need to happen in order.
Wildfire-Ready's Watch Tower feature is exactly what Lilwat Nation residents should have armed on their phones right now. The app pulls real-time evacuation alerts, air quality updates, and fire perimeter data straight from BC Wildfire and Environment Canada, so if this incident had escalated, folks in that drainage would have gotten a phone ping before any social media rumors started. Spring fires in the sea-to-sky corridor move fast enough that the gap between spotted and your turn to leave can be minutes, not hours. Having Watch Tower running means you're not waiting for a radio call or a neighbor's text, you're watching the same map the incident commander is. That's the difference between a calm evacuation and a scramble.
Make several times in the next 6 months. They've made necessary hard choices and now can build going forward. But in order to execute this pivot, Sim needs the support from voters in October, or else it will be someone else deciding what happens to those community centers. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.
It was a tense day near Pemberton. A wildfire erupted on Tuesday, but thanks to a quick response...
Lilwat Nation sits right in the sea-to-sky drainage system where spring runoff and snow melt usually keep fuel moisture high until late May. That window is exactly why quick initial attack matters here. The crews rolled in when the fuel bed still has moisture locked in from winter precipitation. Once summer heating dries out that mixed conifer and the snowpack clears completely, same ignition point becomes exponentially harder to hold. BC Wildfire nailed the seasonal timing on this one, which means Lilwat residents likely didn't face evacuation orders at all. That's the payoff for early season vigilance.
Of where our people live.
The wildfire quickly tore through an open pasture along Rancherie Street, which is filled with dry hay.
This area in the community is known how quickly a wildfire can travel due to the dry grass conditions, especially around the season.
Our cattle, our livestock, that travel through back there.
Word quickly spread about the fire.
The community members in the area responded.
Lilwat Nation's last major structural threat came in 2017 when the Pemberton Valley Fire got within 2 kilometers of homes on the eastern flank. That one took regional crews 3 weeks to contain because initial attack got delayed by weather windows. What's different this time is the nation's own fire management program, launched post-2017, means local crews are trained and positioned before spring even lands. That institutional memory and pre-positioned capacity is why quick response isn't just luck here, it's a decade of learning from a near miss burned into their playbook.
This community from catastrophic wildfires.
In the past 2 years, we've done between 150 and 200.
Wires going off. Multiple breaking now. Here we go. British Columbia is backing new lightning detection tech to catch fires before they blow up. And I'm here for it. Early warning means faster boots on the ground. Meanwhile, down in Kamloops, the wildfire service is staying aggressive on a cluster of small fires, keeping them from linking up. And good news out of Squamish, that Mount Currie fire's now under control. 3 different fronts, 3 solid moves. The pattern here is response speed, and that's what keeps summer fires from becoming September disasters. We'll keep eyes on the Kamloops situation especially. Stay tight, folks. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run-through. Campfire ban just went live across British Columbia's south coast, Nanaimo Regional District included, because fire danger's still running hot out there. Meanwhile, both provinces are already deep in wildfire season with active fires climbing in British Columbia and Alberta. And over in Kamloops, they're launching an AI trial to test wildfire prevention and lightning suppression tech. Could be a game changer if it works. Bottom line, fire season's here early and it's serious. So if you're anywhere near the south coast, those campfires stay cold. We'll track these fires and that Kamloops test as it develops. Chat, stay tight. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. Chase and Johnson Lake, BCWS has 2 small wildfires on their hands right now, and crews are already moving fast. Both fires are contained and being handled quickly, which is exactly what you want to see. No evacuation orders yet, no structures threatened at this moment, but it's a reminder that even early season, dry conditions can spark trouble fast. Keep an eye on the Kamloops region today. We're watching for updates. Stay tight. More as it develops. Story on the wire. Here we go. 2 small fires popped up near Chase and Johnson Lake this morning, and British Columbia Wildfire Service is on it. Nothing massive yet, but this is exactly the kind of early season activity we watch for. Dry stretch plus wind, or conditions shift fast. Keep your phone notifications on and your go bag topped up. Staying sharp out there, folks. What else we got? What else Pulling some archival footage from July 23rd, 2024. Global News captured a week of British Columbia wildfires in full chaos, evacuations, highway shutdowns, water bombers hammering fire. Let's roll the tape and see what that week looked like on the ground.
Those helicopter water bombers you're seeing aren't just mopping up, they're playing defense on structure zones. BC Wildfire uses them when ground crews can't keep pace with the fire's movement, which means the perimeter's likely running faster than initial predictions. A week of sustained evacuations across multiple zones tells you this isn't one fire, it's a coordinated response to several active incidents pushing simultaneously. The highway shutdowns are the real tell when transport gets locked down, crews have limited supply chains and egress routes. That's when incident commanders pivot hard to helicopter and air tanker support. This is textbook mid to extreme FWI territory playing out live. Watch those shuttered highways, that's your real-time indicator of fuel connectivity. BC's interior right now is running high moisture recovery from spring snow melt, but once you hit mid-July heat like this, the upper canopy dries first while the ground fuel stays dense. That creates a lag where fires accelerate faster than crews predict because the fuel profile's inverted: low moisture aloft, high fuel load below. The evacuation zones spreading across a week tells you this isn't just one fire advancing steadily. It's multiple incidents hitting different fuel types and terrain angles simultaneously, each one behaving differently based on aspect, elevation, and what burned last season versus what's untouched. Incident commanders are basically juggling 3 or 4 separate weather-driven pushes at once. See those helicopters staging at different fire bases? That's mutual aid logistics in real time. When BC Wildfire's own air tankers max out, and they have, across multiple active zones, they're pulling resources from Alberta, even federal assets if the fire center requests it. Each helicopter crew running water bucket drops is burning fuel and pilot hours fast. Incident commanders have to balance structure protection against perimeter hold, which means they're essentially triaging which evacuation zones get air support first based on threat timeline. That week-long evacuation window you're watching? That's not slow, that's incident command working at full capacity, juggling supply chains, crew rotations, and air assets across broken highway corridors.
3 things breaking at once, let me catch you up fast. Kamloops is running an AI trial to predict wildfires and suppress lightning strikes before they spark, which is genuinely next-level prevention. Meanwhile, BCWS crews are already moving fast on 2 small fires near Chase and Johnson Lake, both getting hammered hard and handled quick. The good news is the response was sharp. The bigger picture is tech like this could change how we fight fire before it ever starts. We'll keep tracking those Kamloops area spots and this trial. Stay tight. More as it develops. Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run-through. Kamloops crews are gaining ground on a cluster of small fires across the region. Solid progress on containment. Meanwhile, over near Chase, a newly discovered fire's listed as out of control, so that one's getting immediate attention from the crews. Both situations are active. But the good news is British Columbia Wildfire Service is responding hard and fast. We're tracking both areas close. Terrain's tricky in that stretch, but these teams know it well. Smoke impact depends on wind shifts through the afternoon. Stay locked in. We'll update you as crews report back. Here we go. What's burning today? Connie Lake in British Columbia is our headline. 190 hectares. Crews got the upper hand on that one. Webster Creek right behind it, 66 hectares, also responding solid. 3 small fires being held across the province. Smoke's light today, but keep your eye on the forecast shift tomorrow. Ears up, folks. Pulling some archival footage from June 7, 2025, Global News captured an aggressive fire burning right on the British Columbia-Alberta border that had folks on high alert. Let's roll the tape and see what was happening that day.
BC-Alberta border. So far, none of the structures in Kelly Lake have been damaged, but a shift in the wind expected Friday could put the community in further danger. Other fires along the Alaska Highway have prompted more evacuation alerts. Officials say the situation remains highly volatile.
Tonight is going to be the riskiest by far in terms of fire behavior. Tomorrow, again, quite challenging conditions.
Okay, so that fire's sitting right on the border. That's a coordination nightmare. BC Wildfire and Alberta Wildlands are both running ops, but they've got different incident command structures, different resources, different funding timelines. When a fire straddles the line like this, the slower crew wins, and that's almost always the one with fewer helicopters staged. The aggressive descriptor in that headline means we're probably looking at ROS rate of spread that's outpacing initial attack. Crews will be pivoting to structure protection on the populated side instead of trying to catch the head. That's the shift that tells you this one's already won the first battle.
Especially seniors. The dehydration can happen quickly and quietly.
When heat builds up over the course of a day, if you're spending time indoors and if you're in a space you don't have access to cool space, it can certainly sneak up on you.
177 BC Wildfire Service personnel are fighting fires elsewhere.
That terrain right on the border is classic fuel-loading ground mixed conifer and lodgepole pine at elevation, beetle-killed stands mixed with fresh growth. When FWI climbs into the 35 to 40 range on a day like this, that dead wood becomes a torch. The aggressive push you're seeing tracks with what happens when fire moves upslope and hits that drier fuel layer faster than crews can establish a defensible line. Border fires also mean air quality spikes hit both provinces hard and fast. Alberta and BC residents downwind are probably already seeing visibility drop and AQHI advisories rolling out simultaneously.
Couple of stories breaking on the wire, folks. Quick run through. British Columbia is rolling out new tech to nail lightning fires before they spread, which is smart, because that's where half our ignitions come from. Meanwhile, down in Kamloops, BCWS is holding the line on a cluster of small fires popping up around the region right now. And good news out of Squamish, that Mount Currie wildfire is now under control. 3 different stories, one clear pattern. Crews are staying aggressive and catching these early. That's how you win in fire season. Stay tight. We're monitoring all 3 zones and we'll have updates as they move. 3 things breaking at once. Let me catch you up fast. South Coast BC's campfire ban just went live. Entire Nanaimo Regional District, no exceptions. Fire dangers still elevated across the province, and that's forcing the hand early. Meanwhile, Alberta's already tangling with active fires as the season kicks off harder and earlier than folks hoped. 2 provinces, same story. The conditions are primed and we're not even at peak summer yet. This is exactly when defensible space around your home starts mattering most. We'll track both regions tight. Stay with us. More as it develops. All right, folks, Fireboard coming up. Connie Lake up in British Columbia's still the heavyweight at 190 hectares, but here's the good news. It's under control. Webster Creek right behind it, 66 hectares, same story. That's 3 fires in the under control or being held column, folks. The momentum's with us today. All right, folks, pulling some archival footage from late May 2025. Global news on the evacuation wave that swept through Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba when the fires really started popping off. Let's roll the tape.
Orders. This map here gives you an overall picture of the wildfire situation around the country. The CBC's Alexander Silberman is in Regina tracking all the developments.
Well, Andrew, fires are rapidly spreading across the north under these incredibly hot and dry conditions. There's currently 17 active fires in northern Saskatchewan, 10 of those burning out of control, not able to be contained by firefighting crews on the ground. There are currently thousands of residents
so Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, we're watching a multi-province push now, which means the heat dome isn't regional, it's a belt. Those evacuation orders typically trigger when fire behavior modeling shows structures in the path within 24 to 48 hours. What's critical here is that crews are stretched thin across 3 provinces at once, so mutual aid agreements between provinces get activated fast. The FWI ratings in the prairies right now are climbing into the extreme zone. That's where fires transition from manageable to unpredictable. Wildfire-Ready's multi-province tracking would be lighting up right now with all 3 regions flagged, which is exactly when you need one unified map instead of bouncing between 3 different alert systems.
Between the 2 fires, 280 staff, both firefighting crews and support workers on the ground there, forced to flee, head further south, and the staging area that they had set up was completely burned and destroyed. So the situation on the ground very quickly evolving for both residents and for the firefighting crews battling these fires in the north.
And now in Manitoba, Premier Wab Kinew and officials have given an update on the situation there next door. What did we learn?
Well, we heard some
All right, here's what's critical about a 3-province simultaneous evacuation. The fuel moisture code across the prairies right now is dropping fast, which means grasses and light fuels are drying to tinderbox conditions in days, not weeks. Saskatchewan and Manitoba typically see lower fuel loads than Alberta's forested zones, but that actually works against crews because grass fires move horizontally at speeds that outpace vehicle evacuation if the wind picks up. We're talking potential fire front movement of 5 to 10 kilometers per hour in grassland with a strong northwest push. That's why those evac orders are going wide and early. Better to move people out of the path now than get caught in a wind-driven run tomorrow.
The first of those, Lynn Lake, it's a community of about 600 people in the northwest of the province, currently under an evacuation order since yesterday morning as residents were asked to leave the community by the town. We also heard as well an update about a fire burning near Flin Flon. This is actually a fire that started on the Saskatchewan side of the border, grew very quickly under those dry conditions with lots of fuel on the ground. Officials there weren't able to contain it, and it spread.
3 provinces lighting up at once means Incident Command is splitting resources across 3 fire centers simultaneously. Alberta's already got crews staged, but Saskatchewan and Manitoba's teams are smaller, so they're leaning hard on Alberta's air tanker fleet and helicopter support right now. That's mutual aid in real time. The operational bottleneck here isn't ground crews, it's aerial assets. One coordinated air tanker rotation across 3 provinces takes serious logistics coordination, and the weather window for flying is narrow when you've got heat domes stalling smoke overhead. Watch for pre-positioning announcements. Crews will be staging equipment at forward bases closer to evacuation zones rather than waiting for dispatch calls. That shaves critical minutes off response time when the next wind-driven run hits.
People who's on the verge of evacuation, and one of the reasons is because we couldn't fly water bombers in the area. And, you know, putting your drone up there and getting a video that you can share is simply not worth it. You have to put the good of the community ahead of your own interests right now. You should probably do so at all times, but especially right now.
So the Premier there reminding people to not fly drones anywhere near
Okay,
a fire zone.
here's the home-hardening reality for folks in those evacuation zones right now. You've got maybe 48 hours before the fire weather window peaks, which means clearing gutters of pine needles and leaves has to happen today, not tomorrow. That 10-meter defensible space around your roofline, deck debris, dead branches hanging over the house, mulch beds too close to siding, those are the first things embers land on during a wind-driven run. Alberta seeing grassland fires, but even grass fires throw spot fires ahead of the main head-through ember attack. If your home's already hardened metal gutters, cleared eaves, gravel instead of bark mulch, you've just cut your ignition risk by 60% when the evacuation order lifts and you're assessing damage nearby. That's not a maybe. That's physics.
On the ground with this dry brush that's out there, a lack of precipitation, it's creating for some very difficult conditions for crews as they try and contain these fires and stop them from spreading. Andrew?
The CBC's Alexander Silberman in Regina. As the wildfire situation worsens in Manitoba, the Northern Health Region says it plans to relocate some patients. In a statement on social media, officials